So at this time, I would like to introduce our session sponsor, Johnson College. And Jennifer Gonzalez is a student there, and she is going to be introducing our guest speaker for the day.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. I'm going to be introducing Elizabeth Keiper-Aguirre. Elizabeth Keiper is a holistic wellness and education specialist at Life Purposely. As a wellness expert, Keiper is a coach, teacher, and public speaker on topics related to health and habit change. Keiper is passionate about helping women identify and overcome obstacles so that they can design and live life on their terms. Keiper has owned and managed a business for 15 years. Keiper received a bachelor's degree at Indiana University of Pennsylvania and a master's degree from Norwich University. She's also a master certified health and life coach through Health Coach Institute and has a certification in functional nutrition through Functional Nutrition Alliance. Elizabeth Keiper, everyone.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I didn't expect to have to do this, but I have to say it. I didn't know that a mic was going to be in my back. I have one of those elastic belts, so if it just goes like this while we're talking, just duck. I don't know if it's going to shoot out or it's just going to drop, but don't worry, nothing's going to happen. It's a dress. We're good, but I had to say that. I guess I'm in control here now. So if you have a moment, there are 3 QR codes in this presentation, so I apologize in advance. But if you have a moment, if you can just answer that one question, because I am going to use it, hopefully, and I'll be able to see your results in real time, hopefully. Let's see. I think it's happening. It is working. Is it working for you? Yay. Okay. All right. Let me just... So I did the thing. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And if you've seen me speak before, something always happens, not just my belt, but either my left eye will start to just drip or my nose will start to drip, and that's just a weird thing. So if you're ever afraid to speak in front of people, anything can happen. I just want to be transparent about it. I am not sick, but this just happens to me. And if you know why, please see me after, because it only affects me when everyone is looking at me and I have to do that. So bear with me today. But I am so excited to be here. It is 2 p.m., a little bit after that, and I want to call us the rest and digest session because you just came off of lunch. So I understand that I have to do something pretty big to get you to stay awake at this time. You've taken in quite a lot, you've learned a lot, and those brownies looked awesome that were just in front of us. So I won't be offended if we start to nod off. I will try to make that not happen, and I have 2 ways that I hope works. One is just be a friendly neighbor and give your person next to you a little nudge if you notice the nod. I'm classic for that, so I really appreciate that type of help. And number 2, we just came off of a pretty amazing keynote with Dominique Dawes, so I thought we could have a cartwheel or a back handspring showdown right here. I think this is a perfect runway, don't you? Does anybody have that skill set? Cartwheel? Anybody? I will need to call. Awesome! What is your name? Rachel. We will all need to turn our attention to Rachel should it get sleepy in here. Not flipping? Okay. Please. This is... Woo! Rachel, you're amazing. So if you are drowsy at all, I hope that you don't feel that way anymore. And we can all thank Rachel. Thank you. And if it gets a little more sleepy, we might have to have you do multiples because we do have a nice little runway here. So that's our plan B. But we're going to try to stick with the plan A. You already did the QR code. Let's see how that's working. Perfect, perfect. So, we're all here in this room. The title is Busy But Stuck, how to stop avoiding the dreams that truly matter, I think, right? Avoiding the dreams that truly matter. Perfect. So, you're here because you've been prioritizing others, I imagine, right? We prioritize others, especially as women, but I'm so thrilled to have male presence also in the room. Or maybe you're on autopilot. You've just put some dreams on hold because you are prioritizing others, or you've just kind of lost practice on how we move forward on our dreams. We get a little overwhelmed in the day-to-day, and that's why I wanted you to answer that question. So, if this resonates with you to think about, I'm busy, I'm going through the motions, but I'm not moving forward to my goals, you're in the right place. And today we're going to explore why being busy doesn't equate to getting our heart's desire or what truly matters to us. And if you don't even know what your heart's desire is yet, because some of you said, I don't know, that's totally okay. We're going to try to do some envisioning today together. And I'm going to try to do tech and this. This is going to be interesting. So I want to start with a quote that I love, and it is by English novelist George Eliot. And it goes, "It is never too late to be what you might have been." It is never too late to be what you might have been. But I want to give credit where credit's due. George Eliot is actually the pen name of Mary Ann Evans. You knew that, you're nodding. You knew that, somebody knew that. It was her pen name because she was not going to be taken seriously unless she had the name George Eliot, which she created. And this quote reminds us that even if we've been avoiding our dreams, even if we've been holding back parts of ourselves to be more digestible to others or to kind of mask some of our gifts, that's okay because it is never too late to begin or start again. I'm also all for all the chapters, right? We can start again, even if we feel like we're a little behind, because that is just a myth. So I hope that you love this quote as much as I do, and we're going to bring it back to the end, at the end of the presentation. So why do we put off our dreams? Busy is the disguise, and stuck is the truth. So based on the data, the biggest reason that you've been putting off your dream, most of us in this room don't know where to start. So if you answered don't know where to start, you are in good company. A lot of us in this room don't even know where to start. And I hope today you're going to get some clarity on that. But I want to dig deeper into what's really going on. You're doing so much every day, yet your dream, your passions are unmet. Your dream's left out of the plan. And it's not because because we're lazy or we're unambitious. Everybody in this room, we're here because we're empowered and we are professionals and we have dreams and goals. Dream big, in fact, is the theme today. So it's not any of that. What it is a disconnect. It's a misalignment. So when the disconnect between our daily actions and our truest desires, when that disconnect happens, that's why our dreams cannot be brought to fulfillment. And our culture rewards that. It rewards those to-do lists. We're busy. We're checking off the boxes, but we're not actually moving forward. So, quick show of hands, who in this room has a dream or a passion that they have put on the back burner for a year or more? Be brave, raise your hands. Wow, okay. So it's been a year or more that you've put a dream or a passion on the back burner. So if you looked around at that moment, you are not alone. Half of the room raised their hand. I want you to take a moment and think about what that dream is. Just bring it to your mind, that dream that you keep postponing. And if nothing comes to your mind, that's okay too. I know that can feel very pressure-driven to think of something right now. But I hope that you have one glimmer of something that you want to happen in your life, but you've been postponing. And I just want you to hold that in your mind as we continue. Now I want to jump into into talking about something that we often overlook, and that is the hidden cost of postponing our dreams. What is the hidden cost of avoiding our dreams? And I want to confess, even as I stand here as a coach, someone who teaches clarity, someone who teaches alignment, someone who helps people move forward and take brave steps, I haven't always given that to myself. I've run and operated an early learning program for the past 15 years. And in doing that, busy, right? Busy, busy, busy. In that 15-year span, I also had 4 children. So busy, 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 right? Just busy, busy. And about 9 years in, I was really feeling that busyness and realizing that although I was moving around like a hamster wheel, I wasn't actually moving forward. I felt that I was called to something greater. I wanted to do more. I wanted to have a bigger impact. I wanted to rename the school. I wanted to redefine our core values. I wanted to lead with a deeper purpose. And all of those things were just bubbling up for me. And externally, we had a lot of success. Everything looked great. And there was a lot of good things happening. But internally, I was having this tug, this internal struggle that maybe you felt. On the outside, it looks good, but on the inside, I'm feeling pulled. And I was experiencing that in a big way. And I say that because the hidden cost for me was that I was avoiding all of those changes that I wanted to make for far too long. And that avoidance was causing discontent. That avoidance was causing misalignment. And that delay was real. That cost for me was real. And I felt that I was moving forward on paper, but not necessarily in purpose. And maybe you felt that too. Maybe you've gotten the degree, got the job that you wanted. You're doing exactly what you thought you wanted to be doing. So on paper, everything looks great. But in purpose, you're not feeling as though there's a connection there. This is a common human condition. So I waited 9 years to do all of those things, and then I did them. So everything came to fruition. So do you think I learned my lesson? Do we learn our lesson every time we get it, the first time? No. Thank you for the head nods and the no's. I didn't learn my lesson after all. It came up again a few years later when I was launching my coaching practice. And then a few years after that, when I felt the urge to start a podcast. We have all these dreams. We want them all to come true. And we delay and we delay and we delay. And something inside me was just saying, why add more? You already have these successes. You've already built some successful things, and I'm sure everyone in this room can say the same thing. I've already built these successful things, whether it be a role for myself in the company that I love, or a role for myself in my family that I enjoy, right? Because we can enjoy something and still feel burnt out about it. It doesn't have to be or, it can be and. But what I really was asking for, and what we are asking for, is to feel more aligned. And that's the hidden cost of not pursuing our dreams. It's that lack of alignment. We can look successful and feel stuck. That's what I learned. We can also be really good at something and be called to something else. That's a weird one, right? Because you're really good at it. Everyone tells you you're good at it. You're getting those accolades, pats on the back, and you're really good at it. And you might even enjoy it. But you're feeling a pull, a nudge towards something else. That's confusing, but that's okay. Because we can reinvent. We can do a lot of things. We don't have to just follow one exact path. But when we do ignore our dreams, that can lead to stress. That can lead to burnout. That can lead to all of those feelings. Even a sense of loss can be associated with that. Maybe you felt it on a Sunday night, you know, the Sunday scaries, and you have that moment, you're like, is this all there is? Is this it? That little voice, it's like there has to be something more. Sunday scaries, anybody? Yeah. Tomorrow's Friday, so just relax. Tomorrow's Friday. But this alignment is a clash with our pursuit of passion and purpose. And do you know that studies have found that when people reflect back on their life, what they point out most, if they have regrets, it's that they didn't pursue their meaningful dreams. They never took that brave step. So my goal today with you in our time together, and I'm so grateful to be with you here, is that your 8-year-old self and your 80-year-old self are bursting with pride for the actions that you're taking today. So that's the goal. That child inside of us that had all these hopes and dreams, and that 80-year-old version of ourselves, that reflection, that they're in sync. That they are bursting with pride for the decisions that you've made today. So when I say things like productivity becomes a form of hiding, what I mean is we stay busy to avoid discomfort. Take that in for a second. Because sometimes I'll have clients say, no, but you don't understand, but I'm busy, but I have to do this, I have to do that. We do think that is a story, and it's something that has to be pulled apart and deconstructed. There's always an underlying meaning that has nothing to do with the story. In functional nutrition, we learn about, we learn about root cause resolution, right? So we're looking at the root, not the story that's on top, that's kind of diverting us. But we fill our calendars so we don't have to sit with the tough questions sometimes. It's just the truth, right? We just keep moving. Anybody afraid to sit in silence? We can be afraid to sit in silence. I don't know what's going to come up. If I just keep moving, nothing can scare me. Nothing's going to come up. No wacky thought's going to pop into my head. Or sometimes it's just a sadness. You don't want to feel a realization that might come to you in that silence. So we fill it up. And I'm guilty of this too. I realized the other day that even when I'm going for a walk, I'm listening to a podcast, right? So we're always trying to make use of our time instead of just looking around and taking in the sights. So we might look like we're thriving, but on the inside, we're feeling stuck, uninspired, misaligned. But I want you to know that those dreams that you have inside, they don't go away. So don't be afraid that the time is up, that I lost the chance. Dreams don't go away, but they do get buried. And realizing that was my turning point, and I hope that it is for you today as well. So that was the doomy part of today, the hidden cost. What is it costing us to avoid our dreams? And now I want to switch over to the solution. What can we do? How do we start finding the alignment that I'm talking about? Elizabeth's using these words, but how do we do what she says? That's what we're going to get to right now. We begin at the source, and that's our dreams. And that means giving ourselves permission to daydream again. Just like when we were kids. That sounds pretty simple, right? Just daydream. Everything's going to come together for you. But I want to ask you, when is the last time you truly brought that childlike energy and let your mind wander? Most of us go down a rabbit hole of worry spiral when we do that, right? We have to take the reins and bring it to the lighthearted, positive act of daydreaming. But I am pretty sure that many of us in this room, when we were kids, we were great at daydreaming. Our imaginations were incredible. My 6-year-old daughter, she can tap into her imagination like it's like flipping a light switch. There is absolutely no hesitation there. She doesn't ask permission. She doesn't get some things done first so that she can daydream. She just starts. She becomes. She imagines fully. She just drops in. No hesitation, no limiting beliefs. That's key. Anything's possible. Just instant access to wonder. And I think that's something that we've forgotten how to do because we're out of practice. That's all, just out of practice. But I wonder what would happen if we gave ourselves that same permission that my 6-year-old daughter clearly is given to herself. To explore a dream without needing it to make sense. We don't have to understand it, we just want to allow. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to fit into a 5-year plan. It's just the act of imagining. Because daydreaming is not silly or wasted time. Daydreaming is sacred. It really is. It's vision. Was it Walt Disney that the Imagineers, right? Who's a Disney fan here? There's always Disney fans. They're everywhere. Right? The Imagineering, where did that come from? That was vision. That was a whole bunch of daydreaming. When you allow yourself to envision, you reconnect with your inner compass, that inner knowing. Because I believe that all of us inside have that inner knowing. And it's okay to imagine, even if your dream seems impossible, even if it seems so far off that it could never happen. Because every achievement begins with a daydream. So I'm a little scared to do this because we are the Rest and Digest crew, but I want you to close your eyes. I'll do like some weird call into the mic if anybody falls asleep. But remember, the neighbor, elbow. I want you to close your eyes or just look down for a couple seconds if you're feeling comfortable. And now picture in your mind one dream that you have, big or small, as vividly as you can. What does it look like for you? How do you feel living it? Let your thoughts wander to possibility, not limitation. All right, take a breath and open your eyes. We all good? Everyone's back with us? Okay, perfect. It feels good to visualize. It might feel strange. You might be like, I got nothing. There is a percentage of people that cannot visualize, and that is okay. It is okay. Sometimes it's just getting an image of colors or feelings or sounds, right? It's just something that makes you elicits a feeling. But it feels good to do that. And I kind of want you to hold on to that spark, that little dream bubble that you just had. And you know the cool thing about dreams? I just love this about dreams. If we were to go through for everyone that did have a visual just now and ask you to depict it for us, just to describe what you saw, not one person in this entire room would describe the same thing. Not one of you. And that's what I love about dreams, because no one in this room envisioned the same thing, because your dream is uniquely yours. No one else wants your dream because it's not meant for them. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of being vulnerable and sharing a dream with someone else and they're like, oh. You're like, no, but you don't understand. And they're like, oh. They kind of shrug it off. Have you ever had the experience where you describe a dream to someone, something you're hoping to do, a goal, and they say, that is exactly what I want. Exactly what you just described is exactly to the T what I want. That doesn't happen. Because your dream is yours. It was put in your heart, on your heart, for a reason. Your dream is seeking you because it's for you. It's for nobody else. And that's why I love to do Dream Talk, because it's truly true. You don't understand when you're thinking about it. You think, oh, everybody feels this way. Nobody has that exact dream that you have in your mind. So, this gift box has been sitting here the whole time. Did anybody notice? Yeah? Were you worried, like, what's in that box? No? Were you excited? So, this box has been sitting there the whole time. And just like your dream, it's wrapped up. And it's just waiting. And the longer it sits, the more we forget that it's even ours. Just sitting there waiting. We've gotten so good at giving to everyone else that we forget that we have a beautiful little dream here that's waiting. Our time, energy, attention goes outward. We forget about our little gift. We forget about opening things that were meant for us. But here's the thing, no one else would want what's in this box because it's yours. It's your dream, waiting patiently for you to open it. And here's what I learned. You don't have to fully understand what's inside to say yes to it. You don't have to. You just have to be willing to open it, to wonder again, to daydream. Because our dreams, they don't go away. They just wait. They wait for us. Who's dying to know what's in there? Anybody? Who's dying to know what's in there? It's your dream. So, what do we do with all this? What do we do with all this information? Today, we're not just dreaming for the sake of dreaming. We're dreaming to move. We're dreaming to take steps. One small, brave step at a time. So now that we've begun to reconnect and get those daydreams in the forefront of our mind, how do we actually begin to move forward? Right here in these 3 steps. I call it the Dream Unblock formula. And don't worry about writing a whole bunch of stuff right now because there is a downloadable that you can take. But these are 3 powerful steps that help you move forward. And the first one is radical clarity. I put a poll in the app and many of you responded that you don't know. You feel just vague about your dream, and that's totally common. But do you know what we can do if we're feeling vague? We go to the opposite end to radical clarity. We need to get clear on what we actually want. So what do you actually want? That's the first step. We're all here because we don't want to stay stuck. But we also don't want to burn out and overhaul our whole lives. So that's what this tool helps us do. It helps us to take those steps. This could be something small and personal, or it could be something big and brave. It doesn't matter. This formula works for it all. But what matters is that it's important to you, not what's expected of you or others have expected of you, and not what's convenient. It's your truth, your radical clarity. That's the first step. The second step is an emotional audit. We have to get our feelings involved. That's where you name what's keeping you from the dream. So for a lot of you, you said fear, not knowing what to do, overwhelm. But we want to name it, not to judge it, but to disarm it. Once we name it, we can invite it in. Oh, hey, fear. Hey. I know you like to hang around here. You think we're friends. We have a frenemy type of relationship. You like to come up when things get a little scary. If we name it, we can work with it. So I want you to, in the second step, you're going to get clear. What is holding me back? Sometimes it's just that story that we talked about earlier. A story that used to work for us or kept us safe at some point and is not true anymore. Sometimes it's fear of what others are going to think. If you've ever been fearful of what others think, just think of me today and all the weird things that I shared with you about myself. But all of those are important emotions to get involved into the conversation. Because once we name what that emotion is that's keeping us stuck, we can work with it. So it could be failure, as we mentioned, it could be imposter syndrome, guilt, even fear of success. Has anybody ever experienced that? You're afraid to succeed because you're too busy. You already have so much. So if I do that, then that's going to lead to this, and I'm going to get more, and then it's going to be too much. So we can also have a fear of success because we just think it's going to be a pile on, and we just won't be able to withstand the weight. But we can, because we can shift. We can always take another step. And the third part here is that very next step. It's the tiny, brave action. So when I say tiny, brave action, this could mean asking someone to meet you for coffee once a month that you consider a mentor, somebody that you look up to. That's a tiny, brave step. Maybe it's putting 15 minutes in your calendar, blocking it out, and daydreaming. Just tell your boss if someone's watching you that you're choosing to, I'm just not nodding off, but, or for yourself, just taking the time. Because what happens when we put things in our calendar, others tell us to put in our calendar, or we need to meet the need of someone else, we definitely do it, don't we? We don't let people down. But what about our own personal calendar? Just 15 minutes, just to dream, to imagine. And if we do that consistently, the path will show itself. What should we do next? Because small, brave steps lead to big, bold lives. It's a compound effect. You don't have to wait for the perfect plan to act. You act, and the clarity follows. Another QR code. This is what I was talking about. This is the downloadable, the 3 steps with all the prompts that I use. Now, don't worry, even for now, I'll get this to you all. If what I said kind of stirred up some feelings in you, like, oh, I don't know, I'm having all these conflicting feelings, I just want to honor that and say, the reason I didn't give a handout today in person is because I didn't want you to feel compelled to rush yourself through an exercise. So I would love for you to do this in your pajamas, with a nice candle lit, some tea or coffee. This is meant for you to do when you have time and taking time. It's a short, powerful reflection. And I use this with my clients to help them take those next steps. It has all the prompts that are going to help you move forward. So, is everybody good? I'll come see me and I'll help you get it. Don't let this be what you take away today. It didn't work. So, again, that reflection guide is meant for you to do in quiet later. But before we leave today, I want to shift the energy. I want to get us a little bit enlivened again. Because as I said, we don't need to wait for clarity to take one bold step. We have everything we need in this room to get started. This is it. This is the moment where busy stops being your shield. And bold starts being your identity. So we're shifting from busy to bold. You've been productive, you've been responsible, you've taken care of everyone else and everything, but now you get to be bold. So I want you to embrace it and play along, and I want you to turn to the person next to you and with your whole heart say, I am bold. And then turn back to them and say, not in the naughty way. And then I want you to turn back and say, okay, maybe in the naughty way. Next, let's all say this together. I am bold and I am ready. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I am bold and I am ready. Does that feel good? Now I want you to just take a deep breath in and take in these words straight to your heart and mind. I'm saying yes to what's been calling me. Even when busyness tried to bury it, I am no longer stuck. I am ready. Do you take that in? Take that in? That is the version of you that your dream has been waiting for. You don't have to do it all at once. You just have to begin. It is never too late. Remember the quote? It is never too late to be what we might have been. It is never too late. You're right on time. Are we on time? I didn't even plan that transition, but that really kind of worked there. Before I wrap, I said, strike it from the record. Before we wrap, I would love to open up for a few questions, Debbie. If anybody has any questions, if you didn't put them in the app and you have a question, I like to be surprised and ill-prepared.
There are actually a lot in the
Oh,
app.
okay. I think I answered 2 questions, but if you have a question, I'd love to answer it. What time is it, though? Do they have time?
No, it is 2:46 right now.
2:46.
So
Okay, then
maybe 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. Anybody want to take a tiny brave step right now and ask a question in front of everybody?
I threw mine in the app, but
You did? Sure.
how do you remove your own roadblock? So mine in the app, I'm trying to go for a second degree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good student, always have been. This is the first time now with a time gap, though.
Yeah.
Between trying to go back to be a student again. So it's not the schooling, it's not the courses. I'm interested in the courses. I know the benefit I'll get from having the degree, but I cannot mentally, like, flip whatever switch it is that knows I need to sit down and do the work.
Okay.
Do you have any suggestions around, like, knowing how to bust mentally?
Yeah, I do. Thank you for the question. And the first question I'm going to ask you might surprise you. Do you want it? You do want it. Okay, because that's key. Sometimes we just move forward and we really need to get grounded in, do I want this thing, right? Because sometimes what we think and then what our actions are telling us are 2 different things. So if we're finding it hard to get started, sometimes it's a question of, is this the right fit right now in this time? So I know that sounds a little, maybe you didn't expect that type of answer, but the truth is, what we just talked about today, when you are in alignment with your dream and your true desire, and I lived many years of getting degrees, doing things for other people. When you're in true alignment, you find that, and like that, it just comes naturally. You don't have to push yourself through it. It should come to you rather excitedly, that you want to do it. Not to say it's going to be easy breezy and you're not going to have difficulty, but it should be, if you're just starting, unless it's a fear thing, you should really just want to jump into action. But I'd love to talk to you about it more.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Anybody else? We're good? Well, thank you so much for being here and for showing up for yourselves and your dreams. This work matters and you are doing it. Just by being here today, you are doing it. So if you want to keep this energy going, if you want to connect, that is my link tree. It has all of my things that you might want to connect to. I'd be honored, I'm in the app, I'd be honored if you'd share, you could message me, share your tiny brave step with me. What is your tiny brave step? I'd love to know. So until then, we're going to swap busy for bold, right? We're swapping busy for bold, And we're saying yes to what is seeking us. Okay? Thank you so much.